Let's have a chat about locations.
Okay.
Of which there are... there's only like 3 primary locations in this. Actually, 4. Coruscant as well, isn't there? So you've basically got the farmland.
Yeah.
Yavin.
Yeah.
Coruscant.
Yeah.
And Chandrilla.
That's it.
Chandrilla.
Yeah.
Which...
The Mothma Estate.
The Mothma Estate. I mean, pretty fucking cool. Imagine that. Imagine that. Very historic. Like, I guess it's a family heirloom, and she's been...
Yeah.
It's something that's been handed down through the generations. I got a lot of different vibes from Chandrilla. It felt very Middle-earthy.
Yeah, I guess it was a bit Tolkien-esque feel.
A bit like elvish.
Well, yeah, definitely a bit elven. Elvin.
Elvis.
Stardust? No.
I don't know. Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, I do know what you
mean.
mean. Yeah, the sort of the opulence, the finery, the crafting, and all that sort of gubbins.
Quite. Everything's nice in its place. Everyone's
good looking.
The weather's always good.
Yeah,
everyone looks healthy.
A bit like that. It is. It's definitely in the nicer end of things, isn't it?
Got pointy ears. No, they haven't got pointy ears, but
no. Some of them are slightly elfish looking, maybe.
Yes,
in a kind of a poised. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's it. They are very without being. I mean, some of them are a bit stuck up, but without. Yeah. They're kind of just. They carry themselves well, I would say.
Yeah,
would be the way I'd put that.
Yeah. Well, clearly the Mothmas are, they've got servants and all sorts, haven't they? They're very much a well-to-do family.
Yes, but still well-to-do family, but still impressed's not the right word because they're not impressed, but like they're their new in-laws who've clearly got even more money.
Yeah,
and the gift that they get given as the wedding gift, and it's like. They make a comment about that. It's probably worth more than a house. It's a bit gross.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bit disgusting.
Right. Yeah, but it's sort of like, well, not a dowry, but a wedding gift, isn't it?
Yes. Of
one of 12
use whatsoever. It's just it's a vanity thing, isn't it?
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I guess that's maybe a microcosmic parallel with the rest of it, isn't it? It's all about appearance and no functional use to it. You can draw a few conclusions there, couldn't you?
You can. Yeah. The whole thing. I mean, there are several references to the whole wedding setup, and like, do we really? This is a bit outdated, and do we need to be doing this anymore? And
yeah, especially for someone who's a secret spy funder, a rebellion person. It's
someone who's preaching equality.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, because she does have to do a bit of a 180 right before the wedding, doesn't she? And says to her daughter, like, you don't have to do this. It'll be seen as a brave thing if you don't do it.
Yeah, because her daughter's like the day earlier was crying because she was like
she didn't like him.
She didn't say it so many words, but basically said, "I don't love this guy."
Yeah, it's a bit of a wet blanket.
A bit of a wet blanket. He's a child.
Yeah,
because he won't hold my hand.
Yeah.
But, that was my observation on that. Anyway, Chandrilla looks like a very nice place.
It does. I wouldn't mind living there as a rich person.
Or even as just anything. It looks clean, it looks tidy.
It does.
Looks lovely.
Yeah. I imagine the crime rate's quite low when they're not plotting to kill people.
Yeah, imagine the crime rate's quite low as long as you behave yourself, as long as you don't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know what your definition of that would be, but...
Exactly. Toe the line.
Exactly. Very much the way of the Empire. As long as you behave yourself, just don't do anything wrong, you're okay, right?
Got nothing to worry about, have you?
Yeah, quite. I do think there was I think if we concentrate on the area of the harvest for a bit, there was a fair amount of less than subtle social commentary in that.
Oh yeah.
But actually, given that most of that was probably made 6 to 12 months ago.
Yeah.
When, like, the current situation in the States wasn't happening because it was under a different administration.
Well, quite.
Fairly prescient, I would say.
Well, indeed. And you and I have oft japed about episode 1's taxation of trade routes storyline as being a bit silly, but Who's laughing now, George?
Yeah.
You are, I guess.
Well,
or,
no, he's not. I don't think George is laughing at all.
No, he's probably crying into his flannel plaid shirt.
He's looking at his billionaire bank account.
I'm sure that's helping.
I go, it's so sad what's happening in America at the moment. Oh, hang on, let me just remind myself what I sold Star Wars for. Oh, yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
I'm just going to dry my tears with these $100 notes and then burn them and put them in the bin.
Exactly.
But so, yeah, not such a silly idea, is it? But
no, it's not.
Yes.
But it does. It makes. I guess they probably could have, in terms of that sort of stuff where they're looking for essentially illegal undocumented workers.
Yeah.
Or undocumented immigrants. I guess they probably got a glimpse of that during a certain president's first term, and could see that it was possibly coming again. It's not. So maybe it's not quite as prescient as it could be, but still, well done to them for getting it in there, because it hit. Yeah, I would say.
I mean, it's initially, like we were saying earlier, it felt a little like we were lingering on that harvest place a bit too long. I know we're building up to it. I know this is where Andor's supposed to be, and blah blah blah. But it was like a few minutes longer than some of it needed to be. But actually, it had a big payoff in the end, and it sort of served well to build that tension up to the kind of the suspicion they had, or the not knowing where the Imperials were going to go next, and rather than it wasn't like an overt threat. It was we could get away with this. Maybe we'll just go under the right. It wasn't just like a battle. It was it did have a feel of like a Gestapo turning up at your door, and just play it cool or do what we can. Yeah. So actually, I did end up quite enjoying that.
I think there was some really good symbolism as well in those things, because I think there was like it was a little bit like. Do you remember the opening scene from Inglourious Bastards?
Yeah, very much so.
I mean, I don't
Shoshana.
I don't know if they took inspiration from that.
I think there's a healthy dose of that kind of Anne Frank style.
Christoph Waltz again.
Oh yes,
the glass of your delicious milk.
Indeed.
Yes. So I thought there was it was a bit of a nod. It only just occurred to me when we were talking about that then. But I was a bit worried about the stuff on, I can't remember what the planet was called, the harvest one, or the farm planet.
Oh, what was it called?
I can't remember what it's called. I didn't make a note of it. But the thing I had with that originally, what we were saying at the start about it feeling like at times it was a little bit too light and not as dark and not as grown up.
Yeah.
The stuff there, and I know, like I say, Inglourious Bastards, and there's some notable horror movies that are set around like farmland and in rural suburban America, not suburban, very rural America.
Yeah.
But it didn't have that feel to it, and it felt a little bit like it was light and airy and all that sort of stuff. But maybe that was part of the brilliance of it, because it kind of set me up then for feeling comfortable in that environment, and then bang, right. Here's some attempted rape and some murder for you.
Well, definitely. And I think, the fact that this all takes place in like broad daylight in a sunshiny, quite picturesque environment makes it all the more horrible. And, and it's, so when horrible shit happens, it really does hit home.
I mean, it was very, as you say, it was very much gave sort of Gestapo vibes. Like the bit where he's being ferried around by his driver and he's sat in the back of essentially the back of the car, like a speeder, and he's just like looking around. He's just without a care in the world, just thinking,
the lieutenant,
and what he's going to do, what he's up to, and he's just absolutely nonchalant about it, just like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get away with it because it's just what I do and what we do all the time.
Yeah, it's the absolute abuse of power, isn't it? And and for all we see so much of the militaristic side of it, of the empire, but just like the horrible kind of day-to-day shit that goes on as well, and it's it's brutal and it's awful, and it's and again it almost doesn't feel like Star Wars, but that's what kind of Andor has been about, hasn't it? Like you said, it's showing us the bits that the shiny lightsabers and the nice battles and things is that area of it, but actually get down to your day-to-day nitty gritty, and it's
how does the Empire actually hold power? By keeping everyone subjugated and making sure they don't, taking away basic freedoms, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I thought who we were saying earlier about the propaganda thing or the stuff about Gorman and the setting it up.
Oh yeah.
That was an interesting meeting.
It was.
Although I know we've spoken a lot about the first series in terms of like the control through pen and paper and admin and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The two guys who are like the marketing men. Well, not the marketing, they're more like PR men.
The Ministry of Enlightenment, they call them.
Ministry of Enlightenment. They are like, they're just basically...
The spin doctors.
Spin doctors, yes. So they... I don't know if they went... If they went a bit heavy, not heavy, but like just, it was a bit too direct with that.
Yeah.
It's like, we kind of, even like the character, I can't remember the character's name, the guy, it was Ben Mendelsohn's character, wasn't it? Krennic.
Yeah.
He looked like he was excited by what they were saying, but even he was like, we get the point, guys.
Yeah, it was bordering on farce, wasn't it, almost?
But at least they call it out themselves. They don't, they don't go, oh, this is really good.
Yeah.
It's like
they realised it was dumb.
And also, you're like in a room full of people who live and breathe this shit. You don't need to tell us, mate.
Yeah. And then I liked how he went and had a quiet word with, I'm going to call her Deirdre.
Dedra Mira. Yes.
Yeah. He went and had a quiet word with her afterwards, Krennic, and she had a very different view as to what the approach should be.
Yeah. Well, she mentioned as well, didn't she, about basically allowing a group of rebels to operate on Gorman who weren't very good.
Yes.
And it seemed to be less than subtle inference that they could be the group of rebels that were currently holding Andor hostage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that was weird as well? Like, it's another example, like 2 series now, and in both series, Andor's basically been taken prisoner because of a case of mistaken identity.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, at least it wasn't for as long this time, but I didn't think of that.
Through his feet.
Yeah, it did. Got captured again, but it was funny how he was the sort of the really adept guy in that group. Like they were all clueless. He's like, well, you've got to do this. You've got to set up a perimeter. Yeah. You should be saving this water while it rains. And it was really interesting to see how many insights he had that these clueless guys didn't occur to them at all. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally clueless bunch of rebels.
We've decided to be rebels. We don't really know how to do it. I'm afraid.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think they'd be perfect to unleash them on Gorman.
Yes,
but the Gorman stuff. I mean, I'm not sure I sort of totally understood. I know they said they spin the cotton or whatever you want to call it, the spider silk. But he said, but there's a much more interesting reason why the Empire is interested in them. Because there's stuff, do they call it calcite or calcite?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and they're going to use it to coat the lenses. I presume they're talking about the Death Star
reactor.
Or something.
Yes.
Oh, right, okay.
The reactor lens. That's basically, I'm assuming that, I mean, let's not worry too much about the science of it. But,
no.
Yeah, but as well, like there's so many layers to the absolute evil nature of that. It's like you're gonna try and move a group of indigenous people. B, you're going to smear them and try and make them seem like threatening people. I mean, I don't know where they've got all these ideas from.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? It's
crazy.
Yeah.
C, they're doing it all so that they can mine their territory,
all their resources.
Just I mean, where do they think up these crazy ideas?
It's the stuff of fantasy, isn't it?
Exactly. And then to add even more insult to injury, they're basically saying, we're going to do all this, but by the time we've got it all out, the planet may be uninhabitable anyway because it may just implode. Yeah,
they're like, it's a really invasive procedure.
But we're still going to crack on.
Yeah. It was like mega fracking or something, isn't it? It's going to absolutely destroy the stability.
When they're in like their breakout conversations over lunch as well, it's like, why don't we just introduce a plague?
Yeah,
or some sort of
nice
virus. And he's like, oh, actually, no, we looked into that, and it's probably we can't really control it properly, so we're not going to do that. It's like I'll just have that while I have my cake and tea.
Yeah, it is. It's the casualness of those conversations, isn't it? That's exactly the stuff it's interesting to be privy to, isn't it? It's that little fly on the wall of actually, they're all having a cup of coffee and talking about how they can ruin a planet.
Yeah, while everyone else is having a look at like the Emperor and Vader.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at how big they are, look big and powerful, and like, somewhere else is like a civil servant who's just going, you know what, we can really fuck things up here.
Yeah, that's right. It is the banality of evil is in meeting rooms and things like that, isn't it? That's where those decisions are made. And that's what this series does so well.
Agreed. In terms of what they're talking about, I feel like there's loads. I could genuinely, like I say, we've had like 3 episodes, 50 minutes each-ish.
Yeah.
And I could talk for ages and ages. You got any thoughts on what might lay ahead in terms of a year from now, or 7 days from now, actually, but a year's time?
Yeah. I mean, so we've got Cassian's reunited with his missus, whatever her name is.
Bix Colleen.
Yeah.
But they are, I mean, let's face it, they're in bad way because Brasso's been, the last thing they've seen is Brasso killed.
Yeah.
I would imagine as well. So young Will, who's their other friend, Is
he new or was he in series 1?
No, he was in series 1. He was less prominent in series 1, but he was certainly about. I wonder if there may be any sort of resentment coming his way.
Right.
Because Brasso wouldn't have been doing what he'd been doing had Will done what he said he was going to do. So I don't know whether there might be a bit of resentment chucked his way. I don't know.
Be. Well, they've all flown off together and it's a pretty advanced TIE fighter, isn't it?
It is. Actually, let's talk about that now. I've got a little bit of an issue with that, or I had a little bit of an issue with it when I first saw it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of the problems with having something made in 2024.
Yeah.
That's following on, that's supposed to predate something that was made, best part of 50 years, almost 50 years ago now.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I mean, even stuff that's been made more recently, that TIE fighter looked almost more advanced than anything we even saw in the prequels. Oh, sorry, the sequels.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think I don't feel like we saw anything that looked that shiny and new and advanced up to the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, and it is tough, isn't it? And there's always that element of anachronicity.
Yes.
When they're doing stuff like that, because it's got all these great targeting computers and heads up displays, and it picks out your enemies in front of you, and whereas as we know, most TIE fighters are looking at that crappy little wireframe thing on their screen. Even Vader's TIE fighter was nowhere near as advanced as that one.
No.
So I know, but you just have to kind of get over it, though, don't you?
I mean, don't worry, I got over it pretty quickly.
Good.
It is what it is.
You should.
You
bloody should.
So I got over that pretty quickly. But how do we get onto that TIE fighters anyway?
Yeah, well, we're talking about where they're going to go.
Where are they going to go from there?
They're going to have to find another base, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got to go somewhere because they're going to pop up in a year's time, right?
Well, exactly. So I don't know where they're. So I've no idea where they're headed.
I feel like they go back to Yavin. Yavin, put it this way.
Where all the yokel rebels are?
Yeah, but if they go back and they're like,
shoot them up.
Maybe go back with help. Or I don't know.
They could do. No, that's true. They could maybe collect them.
It's hard because we don't really know what's been happening between that. We didn't get a hell of a look, much of a look into what happened between the end of the last series. So the end of the last series, obviously, they left, what's it called? Ferrix.
Yeah.
So they obviously can't go back to Ferrix because that's, that door is shut to them.
Bridge is burnt.
They're not going to be able to take that TIE fighter to Coruscant.
No.
Because the moment they turn up anywhere near Coruscant, I would imagine. Although, I mean, this is what, it's that classic thing of as well. Like, yes, he's flown onto the planet. He has destroyed the Imperial troops that are there.
Yeah.
There's still a Star Destroyer in orbit
Yeah, that's true.
Although they might do the classic thing of just fly off the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
You might be all right.
So we don't actually have to fly directly towards it, as it turns out.
Got a whole 360-degree range of motion. Well, actually, in every direction possible.
Yeah.
So, go somewhere else. So, we'll see. I don't know.
It's hard to think. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the other strands,
I think we've seen the last of Take Homer.
I think that's a given. Yeah. I think he will be gone now. Yeah, I actually thought they were going to show his death, but I guess it's more
suggested.
Yeah,
interesting.
I kind of like that. It just sort of flies off.
His assassin. She's the new Doctor Who sidekick, isn't she?
Oh, is she?
She is.
Ooh.
Sunta, is it Sunta the character in this?
I don't know.
Yes, it is.
I don't know. I thought you were going to suggest it was like a shapeshifter, like the one in Attack of the Clones.
Sorry, Varada Setu is the actress's name. Cinta Kaz is the character's name. Yeah, she's the one who picks him up, takes it to chauffeur him home.
Literally sails into the sunset.
May not get him there.
No. So I think in a year's time, he's definitely gone. Mon Mothma, where we're going to see her in a year's time? She's going to have to step things up. I think at some point she's going to step out the shadows, isn't she, and have to pin her colours to the mast.
Quite.
So maybe we'll see a bit of that next time.
When is it? So the Senate gets dissolved, doesn't it? Just before A New Hope. So maybe
literally days.
Yeah. So, and then that's like just before
the Battle of Yavin.
No, not the Battle of Yavin. That's so the start of New Hope is obviously just as the end as Rogue One ends, isn't it?
Right. Yes.
So you've got that stuff. Basically that dissolving of the Senate. Maybe we see the Senate getting dissolved and her fleeing off to Yavin. And
I think you're on something there. Yeah. So they're gonna. So if they do go back to Yavin, collect those rebels, maybe form the rebel base there. Mon Mothma maybe starts establishing herself there. Maybe that group of rebels does end up being the ones that get sent to Gorman, and maybe they end up being double agents. Or I don't know.
I wonder what happens with her family as well.
Because
she can't just pick up and leave. She's got a daughter. She's got a husband.
I think she's going to have to.
In-laws.
By the time of episode 4, it's that's it.
If she ups and leaves,
full time,
her daughter's fucked, right?
Well, I guess.
Like if you're
trapped in a loveless marriage.
Well, not just that, you got Vader come after her.
Well, yeah, I guess they're targets.
Exactly.
Well, we don't see them in any of the OT stuff, so whether they disappear off gracefully or meet a sticky end, we will find out.
Well, we don't see a lot of Mon Mothma in OT stuff, do we?
Well, we don't, I guess, but I guess the family could be there with her. Possibly.
We'll see. It's probably one of the lesser concerns.
We're very concerned about her family.
Oh, just
because we're caring guys.
Shows you where my head's at. I'm like, what about a daughter?
Oh, it's because you're a big-hearted man, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Big-hearted man, cold-hearted,
cold,
lonely heart.
Oh, yearns for a loving family.
I'm interested to see what happens with Dedra and Cyril.
Yeah, do you know, I love them as a couple. There's something it's quite satisfying about it.
It shows
two misfits.
Dedra's a weird character, isn't she? Because she's
very weird. Seeing her out of uniform, like with her hair down, was like,
interesting. But it's kind of like I almost kind of have a bit of sympathy when she explained her backstory a little bit and said about her parents.
Yeah.
And how about her parents were criminals and died when she was 3, and she just grew up within the imperial institutions.
Yeah, that's all she's known.
I was like, oh, poor Dedra.
Yeah, I mean, that's another good thing I like about it is humanising the Empire as well. They're not just stuffy autocrats. I mean, they are, but also a lot of them are human beings with their own hopes and ambitions and love and dreams.
Like her boss, Major. I don't know if this. I don't actually think I've heard his name pronounced, but Partagaz is how it's spelled.
Oh, okay.
But her and her boss, like he's like sort of just almost coming to the end of his career and just like like it's almost like a word of advice. Just
roll with it.
Calm down. Slow down.
Don't rock the boat too much.
What I think most people as they get older want to say to younger people, just like, slow down. Do the easy thing, right?
Yeah.
Just do the fucking easy thing and life will come to you and you'll be fine. I feel like those are conversations that people have had a lot with me in my life. It's just like, stop trying to do the difficult thing. Just do the easy stuff and you'll be fine. You will get well.
Wise words.
Yeah. But again, like he and Andor, coming back to what you were saying about, they're just people who are trying to do their jobs and not necessarily thinking about it as evil or as kind of any sort of real ideology necessarily. It's just, this is the job I do and I'm going to do it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're growing up in an established system and it's, it's just something that you're used to. It's like life, isn't it? But
also, if you take the parallels with her growing up in that environment and getting to the point where she's like, well, this is the right thing to do because this is what works and the Empire's a good thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like on the other flip side of it, you've got the Padawans growing up who are, the Jedi. The Jedi are amazing.
Yeah.
Well, apart from one notable one who I understand had less than fond.
Went a bit off the rails. Yeah.
From my perspective, the Jedi are evil. Then you are lost.
Oh, classic dialogue.
Absolutely.
But it's all subjective, isn't it? It's all, as Obi-Wan would say, from a certain point of view. So it's, and it, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily think of Dedra as evil, would you? She's just doing what she knows. Not everyone can be a rebel, and a lot of people are just going through the path of least resistance.
Yeah, literally least resistance. Yeah, she just wants to do her job. And like she even talks about like being demoted, and it's like, it's a fucking demotion.
Yeah,
she doesn't swear
exactly
like that, but
no.
But then you see her, as you say, in her home life, and she's like, stop fucking with the man that stop fucking with the man that I love.
Yeah, I really like the fact that she stuck up for him like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really nice moment, and maybe in a year they could have a kid, or you don't know.
Well, she's not going to take time off from her career. Or she's probably like just literally like pop out. I'm just going to have a quick C-section, back to work in the afternoon. It's fine.
Definitely, yeah. Kid has a wet nurse or something.
Wet nurse.
I'm sure the Empire provides a creche service or something like that.
I imagine they are very equal opportunities employer at the Empire.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I imagine the Emperor loves all that shit.
All the perks. Yeah.
Imagine like Governor Tarkin going to him and going, so just having a board meeting, like, Governor, what's on the agenda today? Oh, actually, Emperor, we'd like to talk about shared parental leave. What? What's this shit? Get the fuck out of my sight, Tarkin.
It's the kind of thing you could see happening in Andor, isn't it? They're like, we've got this tribunal about the we cut the dental plan last year and now people are unhappy. We've got big staff turnover. It's HR are swamped. It's nuts. We've got to get a handle on this. Yeah. And it is. You could see him doing it, and Andor is like the only Star Wars where that would make sense, that having those kind of conversations.
I can't remember what's the department that he works in. It's Department of Weights and Measures or something he works in.
Oh yeah, or fuel.
Yeah, something like
fuel that. Purity, something like that.
I don't know. And he's like that. I mean, that office there, it's fucking enormous.
Yes,
their desks are cool though. I'm thinking
talk about open plan.
I'm thinking of trying to set one up actually, a desk like that. That'd be cool. I'm not sure what I'd use the bit behind me for. I don't know, but like the glow of the lights, and it's that like perfect uniformity, isn't it? And nothing's out of place. It's very much sort of like equilibrium,
and a big walkway through the middle for your boss to just march up and down.
High, so the overseer,
looking down.
Evil
on you.
Overseer can look down on you. But yeah, he's even all that. I can't remember where we were going with that. But it's like you could just imagine sort of, guys, I'm not sure what these people are doing here. We've got to make some cuts.
Yeah.
Got to make some cuts. People go, oh, do you know what they're doing? Do you know what they are doing? They, them.
Yeah, that's
oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, they're only talking about closing Swindon down.
Yeah.
Like merging offices or something.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not commuting to the other side of Coruscant every day.
Yeah. Sure, they said they're getting an R2 unit to replace me.
Yeah.
Just going to sit there all day, plugging in with its little spike spinny arm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Something like that. Anyway, where do we get onto that? Do you know about share parental leave?
We're meant to be talking about what we think is going to happen in
Dead Ramiro
in the next episode.
Having a baby.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Happy families.
She's shown some heart. She's shown some kindness towards Cyril, but
her Cyril,
she doesn't strike me as the mothering. I mean, she to be fair, she's shown more mothering or more motherly characteristics than
his
Cyril's
actual mother. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because what's his name, Uncle.
Oh, well, the weird stories of Uncle someone else,
or Uncle Harmer or something like that.
It was something like that.
Yeah,
yeah.
She's like, I don't think you want to be talking about that.
I've seen his ISB report.
Yeah.
He's a wrong un.
ISB. Imagine that'd be great, wouldn't it? Every time you meet
just someone, look people up.
You knew you were meeting someone new. Like, right, have a quick look, see what they've got. Oh, right. Okay.
That's it. Oh, okay. Run a little spice back in the day, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Poldamarin, Spice Runner.
Death stick dealer at one point, apparently.
Do you want any death sticks?
Yeah.
Yeah. That sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Yes. The powers. Yeah. The
powers.
Some kind of secret police.
Right. Okay. Anyway, it's all good stuff. Do you have anything else to comment on from the first 3 episodes? And first, actually, what I would say.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. No, it's gone. It's fine.
No.
Okay. If we try and stick to our normal thing that we do, right? So, as I said, let's say average rating at the moment, round about 8.2, 8.3.
Yeah.
Do you think that's fair, or do you think that's a bit over the top?
I mean, it's really tough. It's clearly going to be another slow burner like the first series, and there's nothing wrong with that because that paid off in dividends previously. Yep. So knowing that, I'm fine and I'm happy. Fine. If this was any other series, I'd be like, yeah, am I that bothered about watching it again next week? There was some interesting stuff, but so it's still for me. It's kind of riding or still dining out on the excellence of the first series for now.
Ooh.
I did enjoy these 3 episodes. Not tons happened, but there's a lot of good re-establishing. There's some new stuff. There's some world building. It's thrown us a few bones with the Yavin and things like that. I think those scores are a little punchy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably more the mid 7s, 7.5, 7.6, I think.
Okay.
So I'm going a little bit lower than the Rotten Tomatoes on that one.
Okay.
What about you?
I would say I'd go a little bit lower as well.
Yeah.
Purely because it's hard, and
it is tough.
We've spoken in the past, and you kind of hit upon it there that judging a series that's only 25% through, is difficult because you've got to know where it's going, kind of. But I think
exactly
knowing also what we know about the structure of this series, I think it's almost like all 3. It's like 4 mini-series rather than a series.
Yeah.
So I think we probably can judge it. I'm going to contradict myself massively and say we can judge it based on those
fair.
3 episodes. And if I took these 3 episodes as their own mini-series, I'd probably go around the mid-7s.
Yeah.
Which is still a very good score.
Exactly.
And I still love it. And I would still, if I've got time at some point this week, I will go back and watch all 3 episodes again because I'm keen to understand them better.
I think so. I think, they deserve another watching. And in fact, actually, I did have my subtitles on.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of info on there. And just one little thing I found quite funny, made me laugh, was in episode 2, when the crap rebels were kind of all firing at each other and having their little fallout.
Yeah.
One of them says, Ichota. Remember that line? You remember that line?
Yeah, is that from Jedi?
Not the example I'm thinking of.
Ichota.
You do know it. I can see it.
I do know it.
It's Empire Strikes Back.
Ichota.
We're on Cloud City.
I don't know.
C-3PO thinks...
Oh! That sounds like another thingy unit.
R2 unit in there. Yeah. But just before that, there's another protocol droid comes out. And he says, how lovely to see a familiar face. And just goes, Ichota, and walks off.
I don't know. I clearly.
It's clearly swearing in some language.
Yeah, it's like, fuck off, mate.
Yeah, basically. It's foreign for fuck off.
Foreign for fuck off. What did you just say when you got to that? You said about the rebels. One thing, actually, before we do wrap up, what's that weird game of like rock, paper, scissors?
Oh, yeah.
What's that all about?
But with like snake hands and... That was a bit weird, wasn't it? Space, rock, paper, scissors.
Bring your second.
Yeah. I thought they're going to have like a bit of a fist fight or something a bit more cool.
It's like you were just shooting at each other a minute ago. You were trying to kill each other.
Yeah. It reminded me of, in Dodgeball, the Vipers or whatever they're called. And they're doing all
walk on.
Yeah.
They walk on dance.
It was a bit, it was a bit of that, wasn't it? And that was a bit of levity that probably wasn't necessary.
Yeah. It wasn't even levity, was it? It was like, look at this. It was almost silly. Like we've got this cool game we've invented that doesn't. Yeah. Well, it's okay because we're not going to explain what's happening.
No, I'm not going to tell you. We're just going to do it.
And it's just an excuse for Andor to escape, basically.
Yeah.
He's escaped. He's escaping.
Oh, well.
And we've all just been killed by a beast.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily that big monster ran through the middle of it.
Yeah.
Right at the right time.
Quite. Okay. All right. Good. Right, anything else to mention before we wrap up?
Are we going to do Last Chance Cinema?
Oh! Sorry, I got so wrapped up in Star Wars. I forgot about Last Chance Cinema Club.
We could do a quickie.
Always got time for a quickie.
Oh, yes.
Go on then.
All right. So, movies coming off Prime in the next week or so, depending on when you listen to this, obviously.
Lovely.
There's a big one. Terminator 2 is coming off.
Judgment Day.
Yeah. Judgment Day is coming off. The curse of the movies that we review continues with Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets.
Sad to see that go.
I know you'll be gutted. That's off.
I mean, I'm not desperate to watch that again, I'll be honest.
You won't be able to.
Not that it didn't have its entertaining bits and its positive bits, but shout out to Cara Delevingne, by the way. You were very much saved that movie.
She did. She really did.
Completely awful.
Yeah. I would watch it for her and her acting. That's probably about it. Lucky Number Slevin. Do you know that one?
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, amongst others. Josh Hartnett.
Is Helen Mirren in that?
She might be. If you want it to be.
Unless I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, go
on. Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Right.
The Johnny Depp and what's his face? The Spanish actor guy that's in all those other films. Desperado. Yeah, Antonio Banderas, thank you. Hackers. 90s, I think that was.
Lee Miller.
Yeah.
And the weird bloke. Conversations about don't use passwords like God.
Okay.
That sort of stuff. You don't remember it? Do you remember Hackers?
Not really.
Oh, right.
I think I probably watched it at the time. But
it's a good film. It's another one that probably in the 90s it was good. And now if you watch it, like all these computers, just of course you're getting hacked. You've not put any special characters in it. you got no uppercase, lowercase numbers or special characters. Of course you're getting hacked.
Yeah. It was a product of its time, and it was probably quite cutting edge then.
I know. I'm not criticising it. I'm just saying.
No, I know you're right, and that's exactly the kind of thing I'd be slagging it off about as well. So I'm with you on that. Reservoir Dogs. A lot of hype about that film when that came out. I never felt like it quite measured up.
I think that is held in, generally speaking, in higher esteem than it perhaps ought to be.
Should be.
I think it's. Don't get me wrong. It's a perfectly good film. Very good film. but it's I think, and this isn't just me having a go at Quentin Tarantino, because I would say it's not a patch on Pulp Fiction.
No, definitely not. Pulp Fiction's much superior film.
In fact, I would say it's not a patch on Pulp Fiction. I wouldn't say it's as good as Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, maybe not.
Or as good as Kill Bill 1 or 2.
Wow.
So that's just my view.
Fair enough.
Prove me I'm wrong.
It's your opinion. You can't be wrong.
That's why I say
it. Two more. Elysium.
It's a long old list, this. I feel like you've been talking for ages.
Oh, very dare you. I'm squeezing it in. It's a quick one. If you stop talking about passwords, we get through it.
Yeah.
Elysium. I don't know anything about it. I feel like I've seen it. Some
Elysium.
kind of sci-fi
Matt Damon
thing. Yeah.
Where he lives like the world's a ring, or he lives on a ring planet or something.
Something like that. I feel like I've seen it, but I remember nothing about it.
Okay.
I was half wondering if we'd reviewed it at some point because it had a feel of it, but
we definitely haven't.
No. Okay. And finally, Black Adam, the DC comic book film. Yeah, which I haven't seen either.
Not seen that. No.
Not meant to be that good.
Things.
No. So possibly give that one a miss. So fairly easy pick for me. Got to be Terminator 2 if you're only going to pick one of those this week.
Yeah, I'd go T2. Yeah, why not? What else?
Why
was on that
not?
list? Hackers is. Oh, and actually, I would like to watch Hackers again because of my comments.
Right.
I'd like to see how it's aged.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't.
Well, you've got a week.
I wouldn't pick it over Judgment Day.
No,
and
probably not.
I would also like to watch. I mean, despite what was said about Reservoir Dogs, it's a very good bunch of films that I compare that to. So it's not saying Reservoir Dogs is a bad film. I just think it's one of those films where I don't necessarily get the hype.
Yeah.
A little bit like you are with Usual Suspects.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So whereas I hold Usual Suspects as like
gold
standard.
Up there,
you're like, yeah, it's a good film. It's fun.
Yeah.
So
perfectly
like Reservoir Dogs.
Decent. Yeah, I think it was a bit of an edgy breakthrough movie for him, wasn't it? And it came with a hell of a lot of hype. But and we were quite young, we were too young to watch it, so I remember watching it with a lot of expectation and just sort of feeling a bit meh.
Rather than it's just something you put on and like, oh, that's a good film.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard so much about this film, and now it can't possibly live up to it.
It's one of those what's all the fuss about kind of things.
Quite.
So that is your roundup of films leaving Prime in the next week.
Fantastic, Stefan. Thank you very much for that. That was
welcome.
Grand.
That was too long, apparently.
Too long. No, it was good. It's good. I think it was more. You hadn't been speaking for ages. I'd been interrupting you for ages. I think is the problem.
It's fine. It's all good chat.
Exactly. Okay. Right. Well, thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you again, Stefan. And we shall speak to you all next week when we're covering episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Series 2 of Andor.
Indeed. Thank you, David. Thank you, listeners. See you next week.